How you doing? This is Mr. Yoon, and I want to welcome you to Back to School Night. And I know this is a little different format that we're using this year, but everything's a little different this year. And I wanted to welcome you to my classroom. This is basically what it looks like for your students every morning when they see me. This is how I post. This is where I actually post. If you're actually in my classroom, this is the angle that you would actually see me standing most days. And so I just wanted to record this from this same place so that you kind of had an idea of what they see every day. I wanted to share with you, kind of take you through kind of what I do with the students here. So I'm going to share my screen and let you guys see the presentation here that I'm going to be going through right now with you. That's not it. And this is all part of it, all the technological issues that we will have from time to time. Because we're still kind of figuring a lot of things out here, but you know, every day gets a little bit better. So this is ERWC, and that stands for Expository Reading and Writing. And let me go to the next slide here. A little bit about me. This is my 22nd year teaching high school English. I've taught in about 3 school districts, and I've taught here at West Ranch at the Hart School District for the last 13 years. Which has been by far the most rewarding experience. This is an excellent district to teach in, an excellent school, West Ranch, to be teaching in as well. I primarily teach English 11, and this year I'm new to ERWC. So it's a learning year for me in a number of ways with the technology, but also with the class itself. But a lot of it is the same skills carried over from English 11, so that's a really good thing for me. Some class information. Basically, the 3 things that we will use throughout the semester will be Google Classroom, Zoom, and Turnitin. These are the 3 tools. Every morning, I encourage students to log into their Google Classroom for the link to the Zoom class, for the daily agenda, for all of their classwork that's organized under the classwork section. And then Turnitin is utilized for essays or any types of writing assignments for students to submit them. And again, that's a tool that we often use to help us ensure that students are writing original work and not plagiarizing information from other students or online content. Course description about expository reading and writing. ERWC is a course that we adopted some years ago, and it's a full year college preparatory English course for high school seniors. And it basically focuses on preparing students for college level English. And it meets the English placement test requirement at California State Universities. And the requirement that was actually required at most community colleges, but I do believe that they've done away with that. And so, whereas before you had to place into English 101 at the community college level, now you immediately go into English 101. There are no remedial courses as there was before in the past. The goal of ERWC, again, is to prepare students effectively for the rigorous levels of both reading and writing that we expected of them while attending colleges. And so again, if students pass this course, ERWC, in their senior year at high school, then they are exempt from taking that required course at any California State University. Immediately they go into English 101. Student expectations. We started off this school year with a number of requirements and expectations of students that were set by the Hart District, given the online distance learning format that we're using. One of those was that we were expecting students to participate in every day, that they were going to be working together as a class in whole group discussions and small group breakouts as well. So what that means is that students would be required to participate even though it was online, both in whole class discussions where I will often call upon students and ask them to unmute their mic to offer their answer or their ideas about a particular topic. But we'll also break them out into Zoom breakout rooms where they will also be expected to participate in those smaller group discussions of about 4 or 5 students. And I have the ability to pop into those groups to kind of observe what they're doing and saying ask them questions. At the same time, while students are participating in large groups, they're also working independently, where they're working on their own during class time, what we refer to as asynchronous learning. So we're actually in a Zoom meeting, but they are being assigned something to work on their own for about 10, 15 minutes, and then we gather together to work synchronously. But in addition to working asynchronously, they will also be expected to work outside of class, and that's homework that will be regularly assigned. It might be assignment that they started in class and that they simply have to finish by a certain due date. One of the other expectations of students is that they have reliable online access. And I know that this has been an issue with a lot of students having the technology, whether it's an actual Chromebook or a laptop or a reliable internet connection. This is something that we're really encouraging students to talk with their parents about so that they can ensure that they're online, their cameras are on, their microphone is working. And if there are issues, the school district and the school is able to help them out by providing Chromebooks and Wi-Fi hotspots. So if you know that your son or daughter or a guardian, if you are a guardian to them, to a student, you know that they're having issues, feel free to contact the district or the school. At our school site, it's Ben Wolbrook, who's the new assistant principal in charge of technology, that you can email him and ask for some technological advice or help or resources. Let's see. I wanted to also talk about the fact that since we are in an online environment, it is often being broadcast from a student's bedroom or somewhere in the house, we are asking that students be appropriate, be school appropriate, where they don't need to necessarily dress up, but they do need to be school appropriate. Issues like maybe broadcasting or taking the class from bed, lying down. That's something that we are addressing and asking students to sit up. I often tell them, listen, I don't need you to be in a hard wooden chair, but you do need to be sitting up, and you do need to be dressed appropriate. We first day of class was kind of interesting. We had students that were basically, they came onto the camera without a shirt on, guys. And, but, again, these are things that we've kind of repeatedly instructed them to do. And it's gotten better over the, over the course of the last couple of weeks. Academic integrity, and I should add with the school appropriate, is that they do need to be on time to class. So at the bell, they do need to be there, prepared to go and prepared to learn. I know it's a little challenging because a lot of students, it's obvious that they're waking up maybe a minute or two right before class starts. And so, we're just encouraging students to maybe wake up a little bit earlier and just get prepared. It's just like being in class. What I often explain to students is, you wouldn't come to class, or wake up right before then, or come dressed, or not dressed for class, or lying down, in class. Treat the online format as you would being here present physically. One of the other challenges that we have with the online format, obviously, is with academic integrity. That is basically students having the ability to share information or to get their information or get answers online, or maybe via texting with their friends over the phone. That's a challenge that we're still having to deal with. Fortunately for English classes, we do have things like turnitin.com, which ensure the ability to see whether or not a student's work is actually original or not. And so we will be using that over the course of the semester and the year, as well as just trying a variety of different assessment tools that can determine whether or not this is a student's original answers. A lot of times what I do is I actually use group work, and I let them take tests in a group format, which encourages, group discussion and lets them know that, listen, you guys are going to be receiving a score as a group. So make sure that you guys are talking things through and discussing it. And I think it's also a good tool for assessing, their understanding. Late work policy. I do have a very strict late work policy because of the fact that all assignments are posted on Google Classroom prior to or during each class meeting. So anytime a student's absent or maybe is unclear about what was assigned, I provide everything on Google Classroom, not only in the form of an agenda, but also everything that's given out in class is organized under the classwork section. So students are always aware of what is being, what was done that day, what is expected of them by the next class, and they have every available resource on the Google Classroom classwork section that they can open up. Oftentimes, everything's done in an online format. There's no, I haven't required anyone to print something out and to use that. So everything's done in an online format. So because of that, because of the fact that the class meets every other day, and we're moving along at a relatively rapid pace, I do have a policy of not allowing work to be given points if it's turned in late. Assignments are considered late anytime after the due date. And I generally give very generous amounts of time for assignments to be done. But if it's turned in late, it's considered late, and there's no credit given to them in terms of point value. I can assess it, I can return it to students with my evaluative comments, but they won't receive any points. And I know that this is a challenging, policy in the class, but, again, students, they have a hard time with it, but they learn very quickly, and they eventually actually end up turning their assignments on time. Grading, students' grades are calculated using a traditional point system. There's no weighting of class assignments or tests or essays or projects. I just give straight points across. And it's the responsibility of students to keep a careful accounting of their grades via Google Classroom and Infinite Campus. Students, I often tell them again throughout the semester, but especially the first day of class, that they should never have to ask me, what am I getting in the class? What am I missing? Because everything's there in Google Classroom, everything's there in Infinite Campus. And by the way, when it comes to the actual grade that they are receiving for the class, Infinite Campus is always going to be the final word. Google Classroom will be graded most of the times on the Google Classroom assignment sheet or the assignment link, but the actual class grade comes from Infinite Campus. And so if you are interested, you should be able to access that information via Infinite Campus and Google Classroom. Well, I know I've kind of gone through a lot of information rather quickly. Because this is a recording, you can go back and watch it. But if you'd like to contact me for any additional questions, you can always email me at pyoon@heartdistrict.org, or we can schedule a Zoom conference call where we can talk face-to-face online, or you can give me a traditional phone call at my extension 202. That's a lot of information. Thanks for bearing with me, and looking forward to hearing from you guys or seeing you personally, someday in the future, maybe open house in the second semester. All right. Thanks so much. And I hope you guys have a great rest of back to the school night, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.